Well, I pretty much finished the pavers, at least for this year. So a little tour. Uh, I guess we'll start over here since this is the entryway. I just finished up today. I had to rob a few bricks. You see a few here missing, and it's okay. It still works. I'm missing a few, but in order to try and make it most complete this year, um, yeah, I had to kind of borrow some. I don't want to buy any more right now. So we have the gate. I'm going to go out the gate. Yes, I made the gate, of course. So now I have the entryway all done. The stairs have been done. The entry was the last part. I have, basically it's clay holding it in place. I have some concrete. My neighbor had some extra left over, so I will finish that up. So most of this was built up last year. I had to do some building, but a lot of leveling, and it's a real pain. So I had 3 pallets, which is 1,540 blocks. It took the big truck to bring them, the 10-ton truck, and they used a crane to put them in the yard. And what I decided to do was, because the walkway was really bad, it really wasn't walkway, it was a kind of a border, and most of the concrete was pretty much gone. So I got 50 of the blocks. I built that up. So what we'll basically have is a raised garden, but for, you know, here they call it condimenta, so I have to think for a minute. I'm sorry. Things like basil, parsley, spices, and you can see it's a completely new front now. And this stair, and this stair I made. This one, they kind of had, but it was bad. It was bad. When you stepped on it, there was an echo. It moved. Basically, they had a bad concrete pour, and then they tried to pour on top of it, and it didn't work. So here is the old one. You can see it's pretty nasty. I don't have the time this year because I have a lot of wood I need to do. So yeah, that'll be probably next year. I have a couple ideas in mind, and what I might do, pardon the big hand, is come straight across here and here and bring that level all the way across. It'll make it easier, I think, to bring wood in, because that little door is the furnace room. So now we have complete stairs. I say it's complete, but you can see the holes in the blocks. That's intentional, because what I'm going to do is to top pour about another inch or so, maybe an inch and a half. And I want the concrete to come not just across, but I want it to come down into the holes, which will help to make that stronger and hold together better. So that's why there are still open holes. What I did do is I have reinforcement bar everywhere. It ties the blocks not just across, but in the ground it goes in about a ½ meter. So where it's up here, this is a total of 40 centimeter, a little less than half a yard. It's going to go down into the ground also at least ½ meter, which is about a little more than half a yard. So this is not going to go anywhere. These steps and this concrete will far outlast me. But that's the new entryway. It's taken most of the summer. I say most of the summer, but the first 2 months was rain every every few days for a couple days. It takes about 2 days for the ground to dry, and I can't work with it when it's not dry. So for about 2 months, I really couldn't do a whole lot, which means the last 2 months, I've been doing at least 12 hours a day, which makes it very difficult to do much of anything else. So this is all new. This is the old wall down here, and what I did is I've corrected it so that it's level and it's the same width. It was not. Pretty much nothing was. Right here, these are just laying there for now because I will probably raise this up. I poured this, and I'm gonna cap it, I think, with these. These were about $5 each, which really isn't bad. But they look very nice, and it's a lot easier to set a large one than a lot of little ones. The little ones, they're just more problems than I can explain for long-term maintenance. So these are much better. I figure I'll raise the end a little bit. This is going to be the stepway into the parking area. You can see I had this poured. I say this. It's very long. It's about 5 meters by 1.5, so probably close to 6 yards by almost 2. And that's going to be the grill next year. I just don't have the time this year, and money is of course a little factor. But yeah, next year. Today, after I finished with the pavers, I started to cut a bunch of the wood. I've got 7 meter of wood, and that's going to be more than enough for the winter. I'm going to try and use that mostly because during the summer my electric bill has been between 100 and 200 lei. The last one was a little over 100, and to kind of give a perspective there, it's $1 is worth a little more than 4 lei. So it's a pretty good exchange rate, considering. So that does help. So the electric bill last month was about 125 lei, so something like $25 or $30. Not using the electric heater, which I have, we can keep that between 100 and 200 lei probably, because it's been between that this summer. And I don't want to make this too long, but I'll show you the furnace room. So it's a little bit of storage. I don't remember exactly how long I get out of putting the wood just up here stacked to the rafter. I get probably a couple weeks. So next year I've cleared the space basically from this wall across is going to be they call it magazia, storage, and I will probably, it's either going to be for wood or for some of the things I can bring downstairs, which is also why where I have the wood over here, that's also going to be, and I'll go down there just to give a better perspective. That's also going to be another magazia. So what we're going to do is one of them will be for the wood, and one will be for a lot of the stuff we can bring down from the eaves, plus the garden tools. So you can see the edge fence there. This is about a yard and a half, a little more than a meter and a half. So it'll run basically about as wide as the wood is, but a fair amount taller. I can go a little bit wider. Instead of going to this first pole, I can go to the second one, and enough room so that I can open my gate, which means it'll come to about here. So it'll give enough room. Can put the wood, can put lawnmower, snow blower. Underneath I put material that I took out from the attic, which if I can't find a use for, even doghouse, then it becomes heat for the winter. So, oh yeah, and my fuel. So anyway, here's the yard. My project for this year. And it's actually level. Everybody who's seen it has been amazed because nothing else is level here. So it's level and it's straight, but next year, as after the winter, where the snow and then the water from the spring will help to compact it even more. They're going to shift. I got to pull them all up. I have a big pile of sand. It's probably about a 1.5 meter square, so something like more than 2 square yard, right around there. And I'll put that down and level them again for final, and then I'll make a border around here to lock them in. I spent the last few days kind of locking them in with sand so that they'll be fine throughout the winter. And here I did a small concrete border, and then I have the sand to lock it in and level it. I swept the sand across, I let it fill in the cracks, and then hose it down a little bit, and it's good for the winter. So that's the new front yard. Completely changes the look of the house. So